Sell me this pin. Good morning everyone and welcome back to our channel. In today's video I'm gonna talk to you about how to sell anything to anyone at any time. So before we do get started, cue the intro. So before we do get started, if you're new here, I just wanted to let you know that this channel is all about making money online and how to create passive income for yourself. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you do hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell, because if you don't, there are chances that you will not see my videos when they upload. So make sure that you do hit that subscribe button, because you don't want to miss any of my videos, because I put out content every single day and I don't want you to miss out on the value that I'm giving away. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So the very first thing that you have to understand is that people don't buy because of logic. People buy with emotion and justify it with logic. I'll repeat that. People buy with emotion and justify it with logic. And I want you to think about anything that you want to buy right now. Anything that you would really like to buy. So if you picture anything that you want, maybe it's a new house, a new car, maybe it's you want to buy a dog, maybe you want to buy a TV, it doesn't really matter. Whatever you want to buy, if you start digging through it and go a bit deeper into it and think about why you actually want to buy it, there is a good chance that it is because of emotion. So, there are certain companies, for example, that give a certain amount of money to charity if you buy something. So, if you look at something that you want to buy and they give a certain amount of money to charity, you'd be probably interested in it because it would make you feel good to give some money away to charity. See, that's what I'm talking about. It makes you feel good. And it goes the same thing with having a nice suit or some nice clothes or a nice car. It just makes you feel good. Maybe it's because you feel like you're going to miss out if you don't buy it. So if you go to a bar with some friends and they all have a beer, you probably want to have a beer as well, because you don't want to miss out. And if you don't drink beer, that's okay, but you get the point. And that is all tied to emotions. And you justify it with a need. Because if you want to buy a nice car, for example, you could just buy any random car, but you want to have a nice car and you justify it by saying you want to get to point A to point B. But you could probably walk there or take the bus anyways, so you don't really need that. But it makes you feel good to have a nice car to drive around. So you want to think about this. If you're selling anything to anyone, are you telling them about all the great features that this thing has? For example, if you're trying to sell a phone and you're telling them about what great apps and features and what great sound it has and what great camera it has, you want them to feel like they're buying something really special. And if you want to know what I mean, you go to the Apple website and you watch anything of like the iPhones that they're trying to sell. It makes it seem incredible. Every time I watch one of these videos, I want to buy the next iPhone. It's like, it makes you feel like it triggers the emotions. These people know exactly what they are doing when they are trying to trigger your emotions. And that's just an example, but Apple, I feel, are very good at this, and they know how to do it. They do talk about the great sounds and the great camera it has, but they make it feel like it's like you're entering a different world when you're doing that. They're not just saying it's got a better sound than the previous one, they're saying that they've got these great lenses that capture the sunlight like you've never seen before, that makes it feel like it's a professional photographer that took that photos with years of experience. and they go on and on about that. They just trigger a little thing and then go on about all these emotions that this phone is able to bring to you. So if you're interested in that, I highly suggest that you go and watch Apple, because I believe they are masters at this. So what you want to do is, instead of just talking about the things that whatever you're trying to sell does, the features that it has, you want to trigger these emotions. Like, people don't buy a drill because they like to have a drill. People want a drill because they want a hole in the wall. They want a problem solved. They don't have a hole in the wall to whatever they want, so they buy a drill because it solved the problem of not having that hole in the wall. So you have to know exactly what the problem is and how to solve it. People are looking for solutions. People want to get out of something that they're in. So you really have to understand the problem that your niche has and solve it. The better you understand the problem, the more money you will make. And I've heard this quote before, which is, how much money you make is in direct proportion to the understanding, or the deepness of the understanding of the market that you're in, of the problems of the market, something like that. I don't exactly know the whole quote, but it goes something along these lines, which means how much you understand the problem that the market has is going to like skyrocket how much income you make as well. Okay, so the next thing is, people do not buy products and services, they buy stories. No matter what you're trying to sell, no matter what niche you're in, no matter anything like that, there are hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of products that are trying to sell that do the same thing as what you're trying to do does. Like, if you're trying to drink coffee, there are millions of cups out there. There are millions of ways to make coffee, and it really, like, there's so much market. So you have to wonder, what makes you stand out? What makes people buy what you have instead of what somebody else has? What makes the difference between a $2 pin and an 800 Mont Blanc pin? Because like, these pins do the same thing. If you write with a $2 pin, it's going to write just as well as the Mont Blanc pin. It's just the same thing, but one costs $2, the other one costs $800, because they have a story. They're limited edition. And I don't know what they have. Like, I'm not into pins that much, but if you go into a Mont Blanc store, you'll probably want to end up with that pin, because the salesman will tell you a whole story about it. You see, if you buy a Ferrari, for example, it's pointless. Like, it is pointless. Think of it. Like, you could buy a Honda, which costs, let's say, $2,000, and you could buy a Ferrari, which would be 300,000. The Honda would probably have way more space, it would be just as reliable, it would be more economical, you don't pay as much, and there's just so much more. However, you buy it because they have a whole story. Ferrari has the history of winning the most Formula One championships. They have a racing history outside of Formula One that's insane. You have the story of Enzo Ferrari that made the company. Like, yes, it might go a bit faster, but most people don't even track their cars, so that's not that much of a deal. But they tell you all these emotions with the sounds, and that's their selling point. They sell you emotions, and that's back to the first point that we made. Really, a story sells so much. So if you manage to get all these points together and make a story, make like, trigger some emotions and all the things that we just talked about, you will be able to sell anything to anyone. So before I let you go, I want to ask you one thing to put in the comments. How would you sell me this pin? This was what we talked about right at the beginning of the video, and I do wonder, how you would sell me this pin. Maybe it's not that great of an idea, maybe it's a good one, but I would really be interested in like how you would sell me this pin, or sell anyone this pin, for, as a matter of fact, because that's the point of this video. So with that being said, make sure that you do hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell as well, because you don't want to miss any videos out. Also watch my other videos, because I've got plenty of content on how to make money online, and make sure that you tell me how you would sell me this pin. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.